Welcome to Optimal Timelines. My name is Sean, and this is going to be your monthly TAROTSCOPE for April 2024 for your North Node by sign and house. And this is going to be for the second half of April. Now, if you're new to my channel, the reason I use the North Node in tarot readings as opposed to your sun, moon, or ascendant sign is that it's recognized in astrology that your North Node is your North Star. It's what you're here to learn, accomplish, and master in this lifetime. So it's much more relevant in readings to your life than your sun, moon, or ascendant sign. Now, remember, you are going to want to watch two videos, one for your North Node by sign and one for your North Node by house to get the most information that you can from this. With that, I will connect to the energies and then we can begin. I call upon my spirit guides and guardians and the wisdom of my ancestors to bring forth the information that's true and correct for all who see and hear this reading, that it may bring them the most beautiful, happy life possible and set them on their most optimal future timeline. So may it be. Okay, North Node in Aries and or North Node in the first house. This is your April 2024 TAROTSCOPE reading for the second half of April. Okay, interesting. So the card that popped out for you is the reversed Knight of Pentacles. Reversed Knight of Pentacles. Now, we just recently had the first half of April, the collective North Node, the solar eclipse in Aries. Okay, so the collective North Node is in Aries right now. So a lot of you, if you're watching this video, whether it's North Node in Aries or the first house, a lot of you have went through a lot of transformative things in the last few months, especially the first half of April. Some of the themes that a lot of you are going through right now is action and inaction, taking charge or holding back, when to move, when not to move, impulsiveness and patience. These could be themes that are coming up. Now, generally speaking, when your North Node's in Aries, this is a time where this is a lifetime for you to embrace that warrior spirit, the adventurer spirit of, moving forward. And so what's happening the second half is one of the big themes is it's moving from an area of your life of inaction into moving forward, because the reversed Knight of Pentacles is an energy that could be like stuck in the mud. It could be very kind of stationary, okay, and it wants to like move forward. And so a lot of you are feeling a push of like wanting and desiring change, needing change, maybe feeling sometimes uncomfortable with change, okay, but this is going to be a big theme for not only the second half of April, but for the rest of the year. On your timeline cards, you've got the Nine of Pentacles, you've got the Fool card, and you've got the Eight of Cups. And what I feel is going on is I feel like a lot of you are being asked, encouraged, prodded, some of you might be feeling, of an area of comfort in your life, like getting out of a comfort zone. And this Nine of Pentacles is like, a lot of you have created comfortable situations in your life. And even if they're not, like, you might not think, well, my life's not comfortable, but a comfortable way of life could be like a way of being. And so what you're being asked to do is you're being asked to start moving forward on things, making decisions, kind of taking bold steps forward. And so with the Fool card here, you've got two cards of movement, but I think some of you are going to experience both of these energies, and some possibly one. But in one way or another, you're being asked to take action on these energies. So the Fool card, what is the Fool card? The Fool is not a negative card. It's not like you're an idiot or a fool or anything like that. What it is it's childlike exuberance. It's adventure. It's like, if we look back on our lives, whatever age we happen to be, sometimes like, when you're younger, they call it being foolhardy. Okay. But there's a positive energy to that, because you don't, like, as we get older, sometimes we think, well, I don't know if I could do that. Is that really practical? Following our dreams and desires is a very fool like thing to do, where people, like, you hear people like, oh, they're packing their bags and they're driving 2,000 miles to Hollywood or New York to make their fame and fortune. Okay. And it doesn't matter whether they make it or not. Okay. The energy we're talking about is having the ability to do that. Or it's like, having the ability to say, you know what, I'm really not happy with my career path, and maybe someone invents or starts a business on the side in their garage. Okay, that's the energy that we're talking about. It's that optimism. Okay, it's that moving forward. So some of you are going to be asked, and you might be thinking about, like, ways in which you can go out into the world and do something. It could be like really um, completely different than, and it might not even make sense to your logical mind. Okay. So for each of you, you have to realize that you're going to be rewarded in this lifetime for taking chances. You're going to be rewarded in this lifetime for being impulsive and taking action. Okay. Whenever we apply the energies of our north node, we're being rewarded by the universe. That's just the way it works. Now, as a teaching moment, just to show you how the north nodes work, if your north node was actually in Libra, okay, if it was in Libra and your south node was in Aries, you'd be told to hold back, have patience, judge things, be more careful and cautious. Okay, so you see how it works. But for you are being rewarded always for, like, venturing out. Okay. So I feel like the second half of April, there are going to be opportunities, whatever is in your mind or your heart, or what you desire. And it might seem like it might not make sense to your logical mind. Start feeling into it and start any steps you can make toward, your dreams. In a bold way is really going to help you. Now, the other end is, this is also a card of movement. This is the Eight of Cups is, this is making sense of your emotional past and moving away from something emotionally. For some of you, it might be like certain relationships in your life, whether it's relationships with a job, maybe it's a personal relationship with friends, family, a loved one, or something. But it's moving away from, it could also be for many of you, moving away from emotional things that happened to you in your past. Okay. But the cups here on the Eight of Cups is, they're all stacked up neatly. It's making sense of it. And you're not throwing the cups and running away, but you're doing it in a methodical way. You're like, okay, I'm done emotionally with this part of my life. It's time for me to move on. And you can see that, you have the wanderer here that's made sense of their emotional past, or what is going on with them emotionally, and it's time to move on. So some of you are going to be asked, and that again is the act of courage. Now, your two advice cards for the second half of April are interesting. You have the Three of Cups, and you also have the Four of Swords reversed. We'll start with the Four of Swords, because this is very much kind of like the reversed Knight of Pentacles. This is the Four of Swords is coming out of a place of inactivity, much like you know the Knight of Pentacles here. Okay, it's coming out of this activity, but where this is different is swords represent the intellect, the mind, and communication. And what you are going to want to do is you're going to want to mentally prepare yourself to make the moves in your life. It could be almost like you could be overthinking things in your life. You could be like, in a constant like loop of like, I don't know how it's going to work out, or it's kind of like in your head basically. Okay, so this is saying you want to come out of certain ways of thinking about your life the way it is now and your future. Okay, so this is going to help you to, it's like freeing up that energy in order to move into a more bold place in your life, to make bold moves. Now the Three of Cups is interesting because I'm also getting that, remember, with our South Node, there are also gifts and there are treasures to be had. Okay, with your South Node in Libra or the seventh house, you know, you are many of you are masters at relationships, dealing with people, getting along with people, and I feel like that you can work with people while you're making bold moves. You don't have to necessarily do it by yourself. I mean, you have to make the moves yourself in order to, you have to have the courage, and it all has to stem from you. But I think you have allies in making the moves that making the moves that you need to make. So what you want to do is you want to take advantage of that and say like, okay, yeah, I've got like allies in my corner. I've got some people that are supportive in my life. This is about being supportive. But also the other thing that the Three of Cups is saying is, while you're doing this, making these moves, even though it can seem scary, try to enjoy the process. Enjoy the process of stepping into your personal power, stepping into your courage. Try to enjoy that, even though, I mean, it could feel uncomfortable, but try to enjoy the process. So it's kind of like a twofold meaning with this card. Be able to rely on those on the allies that you have around you that are going to be supportive to you, and also to enjoy the process and celebrate this process, because it's a process of you stepping into your personal power. Okay, so that's what I see happening for the second half of April. So very transformative. Just remember that you're coming out of, and you're going to be rewarded for taking action. Okay, even if the action isn't 100% right, what I've seen with this North Node in Aries or the first house, just the act of taking action is rewarded, and you'll be directed. If the action isn't exactly right, you'll be directed into the right way. But the act, you're better to act, is what I'm saying, than to not act. Okay. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions in your life and would like a personal tarot reading, or if you would like your astrological chart analyzed, where I could see where your timeline has been, where it's at now, and where it could be headed in the future, there's a link to my website in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Taurus and or the second house. This is going to be your April 2024 TAROTSCOPE reading for the second half of April. Okay, interesting. So the card that popped out for you is the Tower card. Now, if you've watched my channel for any length of time, you know that the so-called scary cards in the tarot deck, the Devil, the Tower, the Death card, okay, are not bad cards. They're just, energies that happen in our life. And when we're getting readings, it's good to have heads up of, what's going on in our life. For you, what I think is that I feel like for the second half of April, something in your life is coming to a head, where it's played itself out, and I feel like you are going to be moving on into a better way of being for most of you. Okay, if you take the opportunity, it's like a door is being presented to you to leave one part of your life and move into another. But what I feel like there could be something to where it's like you kind of say, okay, enough's enough. Now, what could that be? It could be anything from, in a relationship or a job, or it could be just, you could say like, this could be the energy of, okay, that's it. I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to not consume this, or I'm going to start, working on my health or something to that effect, or I'm going to start like, going back to school or whatever. Something, it's like there's something to where it's hit its level to where you are uncomfortable enough to make changes in your life. And I feel like the changes are positive. You're moving from more of a of a chaotic type negative energy, whatever that part is in your life, and you're moving toward more stability. Okay, but a lot of times in order to make changes, like we have to say like, enough's enough. Like I had a good friend a couple of years ago that went through some things, health wise. And he knew he needed to make changes for the longest time, but something happened where it was like this wake up call, and he started to say, okay, I got to make changes in my life. Okay, so sometimes we need that. We need like something to happen. It's like kind of like, you could say like the straw that broke the camel's back type of a thing, where it's like, okay, we're not going any further with that, and it's a positive thing for you. So your timeline cards are, speaking of scary cards, you've got the death card, you've got the Two of Swords reversed, and you've got the Five of Swords. What I feel like is happening here, and again, as I mentioned with the scary cards, all the death card it's about change. When my friend was making these changes in his life, something happened where he got this wake up call health wise from the doctor. That was the Tower. And then the death card was his old way of being, of eating, his old health habits had to die. And he did, and they died. And he is much healthier today. He's like a completely different person. Okay. And that's exactly what these cards are. Something in our life comes to a head, whatever that happens to be. And as I said, this could be lots of different things. And then we make the changes. It's like when we, for example, have to move jobs. Maybe we're fed up with a career or a job situation. Okay. We make the decision. Something happens. It's the Tower, and we make the changes, and the old job and the way of being dies, and then we move on. Okay. That's what this energy is. Now, for a lot of you that are watching this, I feel like this is going to stem from some sort of, for most of you, a relationship in your life. It could be friend, family, like loved one, a love relationship, or even like a work relationship. Okay, but it's something to do with a relationship, and it's almost like I feel like an energy of like you've kind of had enough, and you're kind of moving on. And it's a positive thing. Now, the second card on your timeline is the Two of Swords reversed, moving into the Five of Swords. I feel like for a lot of you, this relationship that's coming to a head, whatever it is, has a feeling of someone, not being very nice, not playing fair. There could be, some negativity involved on their part, and it's almost like you've just had enough and you're fed up with this. Okay, or it's just something to even like, any time a relationship kind of takes a negative turn, that's also part of it. Now, what you're going to want to do with this is, with this Two of Swords reversed, is you want to make sure that you are able to recognize that you've had enough of this, because I feel like for a lot of you, you have put up. It's like I get this feeling of you putting up with things over a period of time, uh, even years, and you've put up with it. And so what has to happen is you want to make sure that you don't block this, because um, like if we ever look at people that are in situations, right? You're like, well, when do they say enough's enough? When do they get fed up? That they can keep, but sometimes we still make excuses, or I don't feel it's the right time. But I feel like you don't want to block this, because you're getting a very clear message that something regarding this situation has to change. So the second half of April, to be really clear, you want to see where it is in your life that you feel like you've had enough of whatever this is, okay? And this could also be just internally. It doesn't even have to be externally. This could be like sometimes when people, as I said, my friend made health changes. This could be something to where you maybe like a lack of belief or confidence in yourself, and you're like, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to like honor myself. I'm going to have more self-love, or something. And this could be internally, like the way that you are dealing with your life and your world personally. So for each of you, it's going to be different. And so that could be like, for example, with this energy, with the Five of Swords, it's like, maybe this is an internal dialogue. Maybe that you could be more kind to yourself, okay? But somehow this energy is here, whether it's coming externally or whether it's coming from within. And you just want to make sure that you recognize that. Now, what are your advice cards? You've got the Nine of Cups, which is the wish card, and you've got the Knight of Cups reversed. Now, this is really interesting. This is basically the way. What do you do when you have something happens, the Tower, and you need to make changes, and you're going to leave one way of being, which is the Death card. Something from our life dies, and in order for us to transform, this is all about the transformation. This is advice of how to transform. And the transformation is saying it's going to come from your wish and desire. What is it that you want? Where is it you want to go? Because in order, like, to use the example of my friend who went through this health thing, after they went through the initial shock of the tower situation, then they decided to make the changes. The next part is who is it that they wanted to be health wise? Who is it that they wanted? How did they want their life to go? And so what you're being asked to do is, when you get to this point, make sure that you figure out, okay, Nine of Cups, what it is you desire, what it is you want to do, and where it is you want to go, whatever this is, relationship wise, job wise, health wise, and, internal psychology wise, whatever it is. And then make sure that you're taking steps that you are moving toward it. So you want the Knight, because there could be something to where in the 3-step process we can't get past the changes because we don't know what changes we want to make. So it's like we know we need to make them. And so something you have to go through the 3-step process of the straw that broke the camel's back. Something has to change and the old way has to die. Then you need a new way. And that's what this is. This is the new way, the new path to figure that out. And the way you figure that out is through your instincts and your desires, where it is you want to go in your life, in whatever situation this is. Okay. So the 3-step process. So really look for that the second half of April, that this is a real positive thing, because it's going to set you on a way better timeline. Okay. And for some of you, it'll be more dramatic. For some of you, it might just be minor tweaks and changes. You know what I mean? But for all of you, it's going to be like a net positive in moving forward. All right. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions in your life and would like a personal tarot reading, or if you'd like your astrological chart analyzed where I see where your timeline has been, where it's at now, and where it could be heading in the future, there's a link in the description box below for my website. But with that, I'll say thank you. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Gemini and or the third house. This is going to be your April 2024 TAROTSCOPE reading for the second half of April. Okay, so the card that popped out for you for the second half of April is the reversed chariot. And I'm feeling like when I saw this card, occasionally when I see a card pop out, I get like a little like snippet of like a movie or whatever, and like the whole plot's there. And I feel like for a lot of you, there's an energy right now that you could be feeling of like it's a movement, but for some of you, it could be chaotic movement, or it could feel like spinning your wheels, like not getting anywhere, or maybe going around in circles. But it's what's wanting to happen in your life is uh, a movement forward in a direct path, like on your timeline, okay? Because there's movement going on, but I feel like a lot of you are feeling like, as I said, one of those three things, like spinning your wheels or maybe going around in circles, or not moving at all, okay? What's happening is that I think this is happening in some area of your life, and it's definitely emotionally. So your timeline cards, you've got the Page of Cups reversed, you've got the Four of Cups, and you've got the Ten of Swords. So I feel like it's all about like emotions the second half of April. A lot of you are feeling with this, Four of Cups. There could be just this like, not feeling complete emotionally. There could be like a discontent with something emotional in your life, and it could have to do with something that comes in news wise, because a lot of times the pages are messages and information, and this is like an emotional message. This could be coming from within yourself or a message outside that you're getting, and that it's causing this feeling of like you're not going emotionally in some area of your life in the way that you want, okay? But I see that a lot of you are really close to making the changes necessary in order to kind of get on track, and that's what this is about. It's about getting on track with a part of your life. Now the Ten of Swords reversed this is a positive card, because it's almost like this is a card, and I'm seeing this, it's really interesting. I'm seeing a kind of similar theme this month for a lot of the North nodes about kind of endings but new direction. Now, the reverse Ten of Swords is like, you're done with something in your life, and with the sunrise up here, like they say that, it's darkest before the dawn. Okay. So there is something that's dawning in your life. something that's positive, and you might not be able to see it yet or feel it, but it's there. Some of you might be feeling that way, but you're still kind of torn. You're going around in circles, okay, emotionally. But some of you see it, some of you don't, but it is there for all of you. And it's this kind of new direction. Now, your advice cards are, you've got the Hierophant, and then you've got the Lovers reversed. So, the Hierophant is an interesting card to get in this, because this is telling you, as an advice card, it's telling you that you want to take the best part of your South Node, which is in Sagittarius, and what you're wanting to do is you're using that intellect, that wisdom that you have in your South Node, that's part of one of your gifts with your South Node, and you want to apply it in this situation. And the way you apply it is you figure out, okay, where is it that my true heart, my intuition, where does it tell me that I want or need to go in this situation? And for a lot of you, it's, moving toward some area of your life that is stable, but in alignment with your beliefs, in alignment for your true feelings. It's about basically your truth, finding your truth and moving toward your truth. So in this situation, the direction to go after, you to get out of this kind of going around in circles, or being stuck and the wheels are spinning, is to find out like what your personal truth is. In order to do that, you have to block out, well, what do they think? What does he think? What does she think? What you have to block that out, and you have to focus in on your intuition. What does your instinct say? And that gift is coming directly from, this is an instance where it's coming from your South Node, helping you move forward. Okay. Now the other part of this is the Lovers card reversed. Okay. So obviously, like, this could play out. There's definitely something that is relationship wise. Okay. Now the Lovers does not always mean romantic relationships. This is also other relationships in our life. Why? Many times it is romantic relationships, but why do I say that? These are relationships that, you have the card here, which, all the images were thought out, and they have very, very deep esoteric meanings, right? So here on this card, you have the Archangel Raphael, okay? The Archangel of the East, or the Sunrise. And again, the theme of the sunrise comes up. But the reason that this card can be more than just a romantic relationship is that this is a relationship that is something that's karmic. There could be ties in past lives, or it's just karmic in general. It's something that is not just a normal relationship. Okay, so this could be, it's definitely a significant person or situation in our life. But as I said, it's something that's deeply karmic. Yes, for a lot of you, it could be something in a romantic relationship. Okay, and this doesn't necessarily mean that whatever this relationship is has to end. It just means that something is wanting to transform in order for you not to feel stuck. Okay, and the way you're going to understand, which way to move is you're going to use your intuition. Okay, you're going to use your instincts. You're going to use your inner wisdom. Okay, again, the Hierophant. But yeah, the second half of April, really what you want to do is you're going to get unstuck in your life. Okay, for a lot of you. If you, at the end of April, if you're still feeling stuck, remember, go back and say, okay, where is it that I need to make the necessary changes? Where are you going to find the answers? It's going to be within yourself. The answers are going to come within yourself. You just have to listen to them. Okay. But again, this is a very karmic thing. And the great thing is that when you accomplish this, and when you figure out through your inner wisdom where it is you need to go, and you will know, okay? It's going to feel right. It could feel uncomfortable, but it's going to feel right in the sense that you know it's right. When you start moving forward and transforming whatever this is, you are going to see that things are really going to open up in your life. And what's going to happen is this Chariot card, as opposed to going around in circles or being stuck, is going to be moving forward. And it's about balancing in your life. Okay. This is balancing you out. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions in your life and would like a personal tarot reading, or if you would like your astrological chart analyzed where I could see where your timeline has been, where it's at now, and where it could be heading in the future, there's a link to my website in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Cancer and or the 4th house. This is going to be your April 2024 TAROTSCOPE reading for the second half of April. Okay, really interesting. So the card that popped out as a theme card for April here, the second half of April, is the Four of Swords reversed. And I feel like there is a theme that's coming up for you that's about contemplating and then making decisions on certain areas of your life. But this is a card of not only repose or rest, but also contemplation, because you have the swords here, which is, thinking, the intellect. Okay. And I feel like that's what is the theme, is that there's something about you're contemplating something in your life in order to make changes that are going to put you into your best life and on your best timeline. The timeline cards, you've got the 10 of Wands, you've got the 6 of Cups reversed, and you've got the Tower card. Now, what this is about, and what you're wanting to contemplate, is you're contemplating something from your past emotionally. And I feel like this could be with like your family life. It could have to do with like childhood and the way you were raised. One of the themes that you see with the North Node in Cancer and South Node in Capricorn, or vice versa, you have a North Node in Capricorn or Cancer, but with the Capricorn Cancer polarity or axis, you see themes of parents, family. Capricorn rules the father, Cancer rules the mother. Okay, so there's issues. A lot of times people that have these North Nodes have situations that have to do with parents, family, and growing up. And I feel like what's coming up the second half of April is there are burdens that you're carrying that need and want to be healed. Okay. Things from your past emotionally that, a lot of you are really good at kind of getting tough and just saying, putting them aside, burying them deep inside yourself. And you're still carrying, but a lot of you are really, really great at, putting on the face of strength, putting on, this doesn't bother me type of a thing. Okay. But something the second half wants to be healed in this instance. And again, I see the Tower card, where this is something where something could be coming to a head, where you are being really asked to look at that. It could be that a situation is resurfacing, something from, as I said, the past, and it's being brought up so it could be healed and dealt with. And I feel like for a lot of you, you're going to do that. Now, this could feel uncomfortable. Okay, it could feel uncomfortable, this process, but it's going to be well worth doing it. Something is coming up to heal. Okay, for some of you too, this is also about the relationships in your life, the emotional relationships in your life that are wanting kind of attention. Okay, so a lot of you with this 10 of Wands, part of this could be that you maybe are focusing too much on the burdens of life, of work and career or something, and maybe more focus needs to come up. But I think for the vast majority of you, this is going to be something that's emotional from the past that's going to come to the head. Now, your advice cards, you've got the 8 of Cups and you've got the Page of Wands. So on this advice here is what you're wanting to do, and this is a really strong message for you, is realize that anything that has happened to us in the past, we allow it as much power as we allow it. Like, it has as much strength in our life as we allow it. That's part of the 8 of Cups, is before we can move away from something, we have to emotionally make sense of it. And what I'm getting for you is that it happened and it's not your fault. It's simply an experience emotionally that you went through. You went through it, and what you're being asked to do is, sometimes we don't, it doesn't make sense, because we're like, why did this person do that? Why did they say that? Why did this happen to me? And all of that. And we don't have the answers a lot of times in life. There's no clear answer. So sometimes we blame ourselves as something I did. It's just each of us on our life path have different life experiences, and there are our own personal experiences, and they are there. There's mysteries of life that we can't explain, but you don't have to carry it for the rest of your life. You could say, okay, it happened, and I don't know why it happened necessarily, but I don't have to let it have the same emotional charge that it did. And that's part of the healing process. So we're not saying like forget that it happened, okay, because that would be like carrying the burden, just shoving it down. You want to deal with it, but part of it is making sense where it's just a life experience. And you know, you were able to survive it, and you were able to gain something that maybe you could help someone else someday that is going through something similar, or that did go through something similar. But part of that is that you're just being asked simply to walk away from it. That, you know, it's in your past. It's turn your back to it. It happened. Okay. Um, there's no reason to keep like reliving it and to carry it around anymore. It's like you make sense of it, you stack those emotional cups, and you walk away. The other advice card is the Page of Wands here. And what this is saying is that I feel like with whatever this is that has happened in your past that you're making sense, there is an inspiration that can come from it, a certain energy that can come from it that's positive. Like, for example, one of the things I've noticed that when, as I said before, when you're dealing with a North Node in Cancer or in a North Node in Capricorn, okay, when you're dealing with that axis, there could be issues that are with parents and family. I've seen people that have this that have gone through some really, I'll say like difficult, things, really difficult things regarding family and parents and whatnot. But what ends up happening is, and the reason that this card is coming in is that a lot of times what they do is because they went through that experience, they become better parents themselves. They become better people themselves, because when we go through something and experience it and we come out the other end and we survive it, we say like, okay, I'm not going to make that same mistake with my family or my kids, or I'm not going to make that same mistake with me in my life, and that's an inspiration that can come from it. That's part of this healing process, is realizing that, sometimes knowing what not to do is just as valuable as knowing what not to do, okay? Or what to do, okay? Um, so it's like this thing where you can get inspiration from this, or sometimes it's like this. A lot of times people that come from really difficult situations use that as fuel. Again, wands are energy, it's fire. You can use this as fuel to say like, okay, this happened to me, and I'm going to use this, and I'm going to focus this into a positive thing, because energy is just energy. We give it the meaning that we want to give it. Okay. So some people could go through one person could go through something, and then their whole life they're like, oh, why did that happen to me? And, like, I'm a victim and this happened and all of that. Or another person could go through that exact same thing and kind of say, okay, you know what, this was hurtful, it was hard, it was not easy, but then they end up using that for fuel, for rocket fuel, to propel them into their best life and their optimal timeline. And that's what I'm feeling like your advice is you're being asked to use this as fuel, whatever this is. So anyway, yeah, could be uncomfortable, okay, whatever this is. And some of you may have already gone through this, because this isn't, an exact science, or it could be, like I said, coming up. But when you go through this, remember that it's for the positive, okay? And the main thing is you want to heal this. You want to unburden yourself and not carry whatever this is around with you anymore. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. If you have any questions in your life and would like a personal tarot reading, or if you would like your astrological chart analyzed where I could see where your timeline has been, where it's at now, and where it's headed to the future, there's a link to my website in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Leo and or the 5th house. This is going to be your April 2024 TAROTSCOPE reading for the second half of April. Okay, really interesting. So the theme card that popped out for you for the second half of April is the reversed Two of Swords. And what I'm feeling like for you for the second half of April is there is an opening that is wanting to take place within you, um, opening up the channels of your intuition, your heart, your emotions. Um, there's an energy with a lot of you that is like I'm feeling like a blocked energy, but like an emotional energy and an intuitive energy. And a lot of it, I think, it has to do with kind of some possible like anxiety or fear of moving in a certain direction, or like directing your life. And so sometimes it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind, I don't see it, I don't feel it type of a thing. And what this is regarding is I think that this is regarding like your future, but what you're doing is you're thinking too far ahead as opposed to staying at the task at the moment, in the task at the moment. Okay, we'll get into it. I'll explain more. Your timeline cards. You've got the Knight of Swords reversed. You've got the King of Pentacles, and you've got the Ten of Pentacles reversed. So what I mean by what I said, where you could be thinking too far ahead as opposed to being in the moment, are playing out with this King of Pentacles and then the reversed Ten of Pentacles. When we look at this, we could say like, okay, pentacles are things of value. Yes, money, finances, health, stocks, bonds, property, whatever it is, things of value. Okay. You could think of the king here as like starting out with an idea or wanting to go down a certain path in order to enhance their life, to enhance the value of their life. And then the end result would be like the Ten of Pentacles, which traditionally this is a card of, legacy, family, wealth. You could say, like, for example, the person that starts their business in their garage with an idea, and then they end up selling it for, you know, $20 billion. Okay. One of the things that just popped into my head was the inventor of the Ring camera, you know, that they started this literally, the Ring camera on the doorbell started with one person in their garage, and then they ended up, you know, selling it, and you know the whole story. You can, you know, look it up online. That's the example, you know, the example of what I'm getting with this. So there's something to where what's happening is that when we look too far in the future, when we say like, where is it that I want to go, and it can be like daunting. Where is it I need to go? Where is it I want to go? We're looking at, and it can be like scary to think about. You know, if he was thinking about, you know, when he was tinkering in his garage with inventing, you know, the whole Ring camera situation and the app. You could be like thinking about, oh my gosh, I would love to like sell it to Amazon someday for billions of dollars, and you know, blah blah blah. But it's almost like you get caught up in future thinking. Okay, so that's what I'm getting for you, is that you you want to think about where it is. Like, it's good to think about where it is you want to go, but when you start thinking about that, don't go too far ahead of yourself, because you're being encouraged to offer something to the world. Everyone with a North Node in Leo and or the fifth house has a talent or a gift that they're to give to the world that, yes, could possibly enrich them, could make them well known, possibly. Okay, but whatever that is, there's something that you have to give to the world. But what you're being asked to is, don't get afraid of the future by looking too far forward into it. Take the necessary steps now and kind of stay in the moment, type of thing. And that's what this Knight of Swords is saying too. You know, this is about, literally, this card is hold your horses. It's reversed. Okay. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't get too far ahead of yourself, because if we start thinking too far ahead, it's good to plan. Don't get me wrong. Right. But we can get so far ahead to where it's scary. We're just like, oh, okay, I just can't think about that right now. So we can't focus in on what we're doing in the moment. So you're being asked that there's something that you're being asked to focus in on the here and now, and don't get caught up with down the road. Okay. Now this could apply to any area of your life. It doesn't necessarily have to be a business. It could be like where it is you want to go in the relationships in your life. You know, other like career decisions or whatnot. Don't get too far ahead. Whatever this is for you, which is personal for each of you, you want to make sure that you're staying in the moment and taking the necessary steps now, and then don't look too far ahead. Now, your advice cards are, you've got the Justice card reversed, and you've got the Nine of Pentacles. Now, the Justice card is, a lot of you are um, judging situations, and it's interesting. You're judging your life and your situations based on the past. There's something very similar. I'll pick up the Two of Swords here. It's an interesting cards, because you know they're both like holding swords, and they're you know, they say like justice is blind. You know, the Justice card, you know, the judge up here isn't blindfolded, but you know, generally speaking, what's interesting is that when you see the emblem of justice, it's usually, you know, they're holding the scales and they're blindfolded. Justice is blind. And what you're being asked is, you're being asked to not judge your current situation by the past, and don't judge it by exactly where you're at now. You know, you want to put all judgments aside. Okay. And that's part of that, is the judgment is thinking like, well, I don't know how I'm going to ever get to this, or how I'm ever going to do that. And so you're kind of like, you're again projecting too far out into the future. So you're being asked, with the Judgment reversed, is you're being asked to not overanalyze. Don't judge the situation. Just be like the King of Pentacles. Focus in on the present and start building what you need to build, okay, and not looking too far ahead. The other card here is the Nine of Pentacles, and this is saying that you're going to, if you look hard enough, you're going to find the gifts in your life and the value that you have. Your main task, as well as building in the present moment and staying focused in the present moment, is being able to find that the gifts that you have to give. Those gifts, everybody that has a North Node in Leo and or the fifth house has gifts to give to the world, as I always say, right? The way you can find them is you have to search for them, but they'll become evident to you, because you'll feel it again, and that's where we get into, you know, the reversed Two of Swords here. It's going to feel right intuitively. So I'll give you a quick example. Let's say like you really feel like, you know, there's this gift that you discover, and you've had it, and you know you've had it, but what ends up happening is you begin to feel it. There could be a fear that comes over, because then you're like, well, what am I going to do with this? How, you know, the Judge card, okay, the Justice card. What am I going to do with this? How am I going to, you know, go about this? Again, you're projecting to the future, as opposed to saying, I have this gift, I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to just start working on it. I'm going to start working on it step by step, focusing on it. I'm not going to worry about how it's going to play out. I'm just going to focus in on the here and now. And I feel like the second half of April, there could be some big clues where if you already, even if you already know what this is that you have to offer, you know, to the world, to your family, to whatever, it's going to become more and more self-evident, okay? But if you know, you have to open yourself up to this. But yeah, like really think about the second half of April, and like moving forward in the year, finding out what it is that you have to offer. And if you already know what you have to offer, start taking the steps, just like little steps, you know, moving toward that, whatever those goals are. Don't let the future scare you. Don't worry about the future. The future is made in the present moment. Okay, it'll take care of itself. As long as you're taking care of business in the present moment, the future will take care of itself. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like a personal tarot reading, or if you would like your astrological chart analyzed, where I could see where your timeline has been, where it's at now, and where it could be headed in the future, there's a link to my website in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you again. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Virgo and or the 6th house. This is going to be your April 2024 TAROTSCOPE reading for the second half of April. Okay, really interesting. So the theme card that popped out for you is the King of Pentacles, and when we have the King, Queen, Knight, and Page cards, they're known in the tarot as the court cards, and they can be either energies or they could be represent actual people in situations in our life. Okay, in this case, I'm feeling like this is an actual person in your life, and they're most likely either they have a strong um, earth sign energy, so you know, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, or you know, it's something in either that's in their astrological chart, or they just have that energy. But it's also representing you in your North Node, which is in Virgo, okay, which is an earth sign. So this is representing like an actual person in your life, and or also the energy that you're bringing this to this situation. Now, really interesting. I have a feeling that this situation has to do with something um, with parents. There's some sort of parents involved, whether they be your parents or whether you are the parent. Okay, here's why I say that. Your timeline cards, you've got the Emperor, you've got the Empress, and you've got the Six of Pentacles. So, the Emperor and the Empress definitely can represent like parents, okay? Can represent the mother and the father. And I feel like there's a situation the second half of April that's regarding this. This could be something from your past. It could be something you're going through now. It could be, as I said, you could be the parent, or it could be your parents or someone close to you, like in a relationship. Let's say, your significant other, their parents. Okay. So there's parents involved here. And what's happening with this is that there's a situation that has to do with learning. It's like a learning to give in some sense. Okay. Learning to, not only monetarily, but there could be where, um, something of value was given, or something of value has to be given. Yes, that could be, money. It could be property. It could be something to that effect. But also, there's other things of value other than, money and property. Okay, but there's definitely like some sort of a charitable situation that is going on here. Okay, you're being asked to focus on it, but you're being asked to like take it into a different direction. This situation, I feel like this situation is something that um needs to be focused on, whatever this is, whether it's something that has happened from the past or that's happening now. It needs to be focused on, and there's an energy of almost like wanting to escape from the situation, like you want to get away and like not deal with it. Okay, but you're being asked to kind of like, deal with it in some way. So your timeline cards, you've got the Eight of Wands upright, and you've got the Eight of Cups reversed. Okay, so two eights here, and this is something to where I feel like this situation is very karmic in nature. Okay, with, like the eight on its side, the infinity sign. I think there's something very karmic in this. But what you're being asked to do is, it's almost like conflicting energies. On the one hand, you're being asked to move forward in something, and then at the same time, you're being asked to not walk away from it. So you're being asked to emotionally not walk away and deal with the situation emotionally, but then you're being asked to take action with whatever this is. And as I said, it has to do with something with parents. Also, I'm getting the energy of like, like, could, for some of you, like a bosses or like supervisors type of a thing that could come into play here, which could involve, like raises, or, money, or finances. But essentially, what you're wanting to do is, you're needing to focus in on whatever this is to get the answers for it. And I think that this is like an exercise in focus and movement for you that has to do with your North Node, being able to like make sense of something in your life, and to, kind of figure it out and then make the necessary changes. So it's like focusing in on it emotionally to make sense of it, and then going in a certain direction. And I feel like with this, that there's an element with this, Six of Pentacles. There's an element of compassion that you can bring to this situation, but it's definitely something to where this is an exercise, as I said, of focus. What are you focusing in on? You're focusing in on making sense of what has transpired with this situation regarding these parents. And as I said, this could be you. You could be one of the parents here, okay? And it could have to do with something with your children or with someone else in the family, okay? But essentially what you're doing is you're being asked to step into your north node in Virgo, and you're being asked to focus in on emotionally the situation at hand, and then take the necessary steps that you kind of deem necessary. So as I said, it's an exercise in evaluating a situation, focusing on it, and then taking appropriate action. And I know that, it seems kind of vague, because this is like one of these the reading it's very broad in nature. Normally we can kind of hone in on these readings and get a little bit more exact, but this is a very broad spectrum. And I think the reason is because it's a different focus for people watching this, okay? So each person is going to be a slightly different focus, and so it's kind of broad in nature. But essentially, all you have to think about doing is whatever this is that takes place the second half of April, is focus in on it, make sense of it emotionally. Don't walk away and try to escape from the situation, but focus in on it and find a solution in order to move forward in a certain direction. So it's also a solution creating exercise. Okay, finding a solution to an issue or a problem, and I think that this is playing into, if you're watching this, you have a south node in Pisces, okay, and or the 12th house. So this exercise in focusing in on a situation is really good for you, to kind of go through this. And yeah, I'm really curious. Let me know in the comments if when you watch this video and how it plays out, how it played out personally for you, and how this, because I'm getting a really strong message. But as I said, it's this aspect that it's like an exercise for you to go through this. And I feel like when you do that, the other part of this that I'm feeling really strong is with this Six of Pentacles in the completion position, is I feel like there's a reward at the end also for kind of going through this, for putting the energy into figuring it out and focusing it, not escaping it or walking away from it, but dealing with it and then finding a solution and moving forward with the solution. I feel like there's a reward for each of you going through this. So don't feel like you're going through this for nothing, okay? There's definitely something of value here for you. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. If you have any questions in your life and would like a personal tarot reading, or if you'd like your astrological chart analyzed, where I see where your timeline's been, where it's at now, and where it could be heading in the future, there's a link to my website in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Libra and or the 7th house. This is going to be your April 2024 TAROTSCOPE reading for the second half of April. Okay, so interesting. The theme card that popped out for you for the second half of April is the reversed Two of Pentacles. And what I'm feeling like for all of you right now is one of the big themes you're dealing with the second half of April is a juggling or balancing of different things in your life. For some of you, it could be, juggling like money or finances. For others, it could be just juggling, life responsibilities or different aspects of your life. But there's this like balancing that's, going on. And I feel like for some of you, you're more ahead of the game than others, But it's like this feeling of trying to get things settled down. There's like this kind of unsettling juggling type energy that could be going on in your life. And what I feel like a lot of it is going to have to do with relationships and also issues within relationships in your life. The relationships could be, they could be your significant other, romantic relationships, could be friends, family, or even work relationships. Okay, it's kind of open to that. For a lot of you, it's going to be in your significant other or somebody very, very, close to you. Your timeline cards are: you've got the Devil card reversed, you've got the Lovers card, and you've got the King of Cups reversed. Now, if you've watched my channel for any length of time, those of you that have know that when I talk about the so-called scary cards like the Devil, Death, the Tower card, they're not necessarily bad cards. They're energies. The imagery is very, stark and can seem scary, but they're just energies that we have to deal with in our life. Now, with the Devil card reversed, what I feel like this could represent fears in our life. It could also represent some sort of like addictions, and that could be addictions like physical addictions that we have, but also like mental and emotional addictions. Like we have ways of being addicted to things in our life of ways of being type of a thing. So for this, I feel a lot of you, there is like a fear and anxiety, and I feel like you're working through it. Like the Devil's reversed here, and then you're going into the Lover's card, and I feel like there are things that you're working through. So if you're dealing with anything in your life regarding, addictions, and as I said, it could be physical, it could be addictions to ways of being, it could be pleasure, it could be, video games, food, whatever. It doesn't necessarily have to be any sort of substances per se. But I feel like you're working through it. But for a lot of you, this is going to have to do with like fears. It's almost like the boogeyman facing things head on, facing, the scary thing in the closet when you're a kid, or like I said, the boogeyman within our relationships. And I feel like you're working through these things into a positive way. But it could feel like the second half of April, I'm feeling like it's a work in progress. There's work to be done here, and that's why there's this juggling going on. Now with the King of Cups reversed, I feel like for a lot of you, this is going to I feel like this is an actual person in your life, as well as an energy that's within you. So the person in your life is probably someone who's like super emotional, could be like a water sign or have a lot of water astrological sign within their chart or within their energy. So we're talking about, Scorpio, we're talking about Pisces or Cancer. So that type of energy. And I feel like that could be one element of this. But from your standpoint, I feel like what you're doing is this is a battle within yourself, because a lot of you that have, even though, your North Node in Libra, and that's an air sign, it's a highly emotional sign. And I feel like a lot of you have this like overwhelming compassion for those close to you. It's almost like, you'll give the shirt off your back type of a thing. And I think that this is something that's being balanced in your life. So like you're being balanced, but also this relationship, whatever it is also being balanced. And as I said, the relationship with the Lovers, it could be, yes, a significant other, like a partnership that you have, partnership, marriage, something like to that effect. but it not necessarily. This also could be just a very close relationship. But when you have the Lover's card, it's something that's very karmic because you have the Archangel Raphael here, and this is showing that this is a very kind of karmic relationship that you're dealing with, whatever it is, okay? And it's being balanced out for the good. And I really think that there's not a lot that you need to do other than stepping into um, a position of understanding and compassion. So it's nothing that you really have to fix per se, other than just standing back and being, there's a situation that's happening in front of you and you don't need to like rush in to fix it. You can let it play out, but what you need to do is actually open up your heart, open up that compassion part, and it's going to work itself out. There's going to be the urge to, within this situation, to act. Okay, you're going to feel the need to, I need to act, I need to fix this, I need to do something about it, and that would be a mistake. Okay, let it play out. What you need to do is go within and be there for this situation. Open up your heart, open up your compassion, open up your understanding. And remember, your north node's ruled by Venus, okay? So this is like, emotional intelligence, right? And what's being balanced here is with this King of Cups reversed is you are learning to develop the ability to be there emotionally in your life without having to act and physically do something. Because for a lot of you, you could probably relate to this. You could probably relate to the fact that a lot of times in your life, throughout your life, something has happened and you felt the need to fix it. And what ends up happening is you try to fix it and it actually ends up worse. So that's what this is telling you. This is saying that all you need to do is open up your heart in this situation. Now, what are your advice cards? You've got the Five of Wands reversed and you've got the Queen of Swords reversed. I feel like the element in this situation that's going on is what could trigger you, and I'm getting a feeling of something that is the possibility of triggering you. Remember, your south node's in Aries, okay? So, this a lot of you have could have a short fuse, or you could actually, get triggered easily. And I feel like in this situation, what you're being told to do is not to react. Okay, you have the Five of Wands here, okay? It's reversed. And this is, some sort of like a chaotic situation and you're reacting to wands being swung around you. You're being told like not to react, let it go. If someone, verbally or something is like, you know, taking a swing at you with the wand, right? You don't need to react right away, but like take a pause, okay? That's like, yeah, count to 10, open up, your heart and your compassion, see what's going on here. So you're being told not to react. And then with the Queen of Swords reversed, you're being asked to not overthink things, because this energy sometimes for you, when something happens, it can go in one of two ways, or it could go both ways at the same time. It could be like, I need to physically act or react, and or I'm going immediately to my head to try to solve this puzzle. So the action part of our life is coming from the solar plexus and the sacral chakra down here. This is instinct, it's reaction, it's action, right? And then the other way the energy could go is up here in your head. Like, I'm trying to figure this problem out. I got to solve it. I got to solve it. So what you're doing with this whole thing is you're bringing the energy into here, into this, into the heart space, okay? Into understanding and seeing that you don't need to take action or react to this but if you open up your heart. Now, the interesting thing is when you do this, you're opening up a world of possibilities, not only within this relationship, but throughout your whole life. I'm seeing this for a lot of the North nodes, that the second half of April is a real like training thing that's going on, like learning new skills. It's like to take you to the next level on your path. There's like, it's like a testing or like a training. And this is gonna, remember, like, this is not easy, right? Because we always are going with our instincts, which come from our south node and also our Pluto placement, right? So we're always working on instinct. So your reaction and your instinct is going to come, and it's going to be hard to, or difficult, I should say, to resist that, okay? But just remember, whatever this situation is, and whatever relationship this is, approach it with a sense of compassion, of love, of understanding. Even if it's a difficult situation, you know, take some deep breaths. Like, don't try not to let it trigger you, and try not to let the energy either shoot, down into reaction or up into the head where I got to try to solve this. Okay. Either, both, or like one or the other, but bring it into the heart space for understanding, because that's what you're learning in this lifetime. Okay. And when you do that, this is a real, whenever I see any of the cards with, the archangels on there, as I said, it's very karmic, but this could be like a fast track onto your timeline, onto your optimal timeline. Okay, that when you see something that's karmic like this, and it's like this lesson, that when you pass this lesson, it could really like put you on the fast track to, your optimal timeline, right? So anyway, yeah, really interesting. Let me know in the comments, how the second half of April plays out, and how this has personally like played out in your life. But anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions in your life and would like a personal tarot reading, or if you'd like your astrological chart analyzed, where I see where your timeline has been, where it's at now, and where it could be heading in the future, there's a link to my website in the description box below. But with that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Scorpio and or the 8th house. This is going to be your April 2024 TAROTSCOPE reading for the second half of April. Okay, interesting. So the theme card that popped out for you for the second half of April is the Two of Cups. And what I was drawn to in this card, because different things kind of draw me in, is this caduceus here, which is, the universal like symbol for healing and health, right? And with the Two of Cups, what I feel like is going on for you is, I feel like there's an aspect in your life regarding relationships in general in your life, that there's a healing going on, and like an understanding. um like I feel like the second half of April, it's like I feel like this deeper understanding for the people and relationships in your life, like you're delving in to a deeper level, and you're meeting people and understanding. This is a card of meeting people, in a heart to heart, mind to mind, like a connection, okay? And a feeling of understanding emotionally the people and relationships in our life, and I feel like that's what's going on here. Your timeline cards are: you've got the Ten of Swords reversed, you've got the Four of Pentacles reversed, and you've got the Three of Pentacles. And what I feel like is happening is I feel like there is an opening up on your part of areas of your life where you were closed off, whether that be emotionally, physically, mentally, or even spiritually. And there's this opening up with this four of pentacles reversed. It's like things are unlocking. I'm getting this thing of like gifts that are within you are becoming unlocked, and the more you can work with it, like you are in control of even unlocking more of these, but you're opening up. And the reason that you're opening up is a lot of you have, with this 10 of swords reversed, you've gone through things where certain things in your life, certain relationships have, ended, or you've walked away from them, or you've walked away from situations in general. And that could be like a job situation, or just had some things happen in your life that are helping you with this opening up of yourself. It's like this opening, or like flowering of yourself. And when you do that, you're able to connect to people at a more deeper level. I feel like, and this is being kind of helped along by things that you've gone through, and that like you're moving away from one area of your life, one era of your life, into like another. For a lot of you, it's going to be with your career, with your work, being recognized. And that's what this three of pentacles is saying, is it could be not only your job or career, but like what it is you do. Like, if even if you are a stay-at-home person, you work from home, or you're a stay-at-home parent, or you have other skills. I feel like this opening that's happening is helping people to recognize your gifts. That could be at work, that could be at home, that could be within, like, friends or family, but you're being recognized for who you are as a person and your personal gifts. So it's kind of like when you have this four of pentacles, and now it's reversed, and you're opening parts of yourself up, people can see different parts of yourself that were kept hidden away from them, right? So I feel like that's what's happening. There's this opening that's trying to happen, and you can actually, facilitate it more the second half of April. And what this is doing is it's getting you to understand yourself at a deeper, more intimate level, and also the relationships around you at a deeper, more intimate level. So, what do I mean by that? When I say, like, we make the statement, you're getting to know yourself at a deeper level. A lot of people say, like, what do you mean? Like, I'm, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, whatever the case may be. I know myself, right? We think we know ourselves, but what you find is, if you are in the process of learning and developing as a person throughout your life, you learn new things about yourself all the time. And don't think that just because, you are, 25, 35, 45, 55, whatever the case may be, years old, that you know everything about yourself. And we can discover things about ourselves that we didn't know, or that we didn't really like look at before. So I feel like this opening is helping others, and also yourself, to know yourself at a deeper level, which is really valuable. When you start to really know yourself, and you can, that's what looking at your shadow side is. I mean, Carl Jung, this is what he said, like, to really look at yourself and understand yourself is a huge gift. And when you can do that, you're able to open up, and others can see different levels of you, and can see all of you. And if they can love and understand you for all of you, all the better. You know what I mean? So that's what's happening the second half of April. Very powerful, very transformative. And then on your advice cards, you've got the Knight of Swords reversed, and you've got the Ace of Cups reversed. One of the things that you're being asked to do is you're being asked to make sure that you aren't moving too quickly through this process, because what can happen is if you skip over a lot of this and you don't really like take it in, there could be gifts that you're missing. So what do I mean by that? So let's say that you're being shown a deeper level of yourself as a person, or you're being shown a deeper level of someone close to in your life. Just because you're being shown that of yourself, meaning that a situation comes up and you're being shown, or you're seeing it from someone else, it doesn't mean you're going to recognize it, especially if you're moving through the process too fast and skipping over things. Okay. So if you're rushing through this, you might miss some really important things. So what you're being told to do is you're being told to, because you're being told to take the process slower and take it all in. Like, for example, we'll go back to the advice, or to the theme card. Okay, the Two of Cups. You are hanging out for a day with a group of people, right? And you don't really know them that well, like maybe just casually, right? And what you do is you just run around and you are talking and chatting with a bunch of different people, having a good time or whatever. And that's all well and good, right? But if you feel this connection with somebody, and it could be, just like, in a friend connection or something else, but just some sort of a connection. And you spend the time where you're spending, an hour, 2-3 hours, half a day, or whatever it is, talking and relating and, doing something, wherever it is you're doing this. When you're doing this, you can know that person at a deeper level, as opposed to if you are just running around and, spending a little bit of time with each person. That's kind of what I'm feeling with this is, whatever this situation is and that's happening, is you want to make sure you're taking the time and not rushing through it so you can get the gifts. The same thing is with ourselves, like we could be reading a book, and a lot of times, like, you could watch a video or you could read a book or something, and there's this really important point where a lot of people can start to know themselves at a deeper, more intimate level. And you are kind of like rushing through it, and then you're like, that's interesting. And you just keep pushing on, and you by the time you're done, like, let's say you're reading for half hour, 45 minutes or whatever, and you go about your day to do something else, you've completely forgotten that point. But if you stop, you're like, whoa, like, that's really interesting. And you kind of like think about it, you reread the passage, maybe highlight it, make a note of it, like, okay, that's interesting. When you've maybe had this insight about yourself, and these things can be easily missed. So that's what this is saying, that don't make sure that you're not rushing through this process, that this is something that is going to help you so you can know yourself and those around you at a more intimate level. And the value in that is really immense. Okay. So yeah, really interesting for the second half of April. Let me know how in the comments how this has played out for you individually, and how this might have worked out. I'd be curious to see. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions in your life and would like a personal tarot reading, or if you would like your astrological chart analyzed where I could see where your timeline has been, where it's headed to the future, there's a link in the description box below. But with that, also, thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Sagittarius and or the 9th house. This is going to be your April 2024 TAROTSCOPE reading for the second half of April. Okay, so the theme card that popped out for you is the reversed Ace of Cups. Reversed Ace of Cups. And when I saw this card, the phrase that popped into my mind is to be true to yourself. And I felt like this energy when I was thinking about that as I was shuffling and laying out the cards. Be true to yourself. Follow your truth. And it's interesting because normally, I don't think of the Ace of Cups, like that. But it really does like ring true. Be true to yourself, to your heart, to what it is you truly feel. And I feel like the second half of April and moving on through the year, this is going to be a big theme of you finding and following like your truth, what's in your heart. And I feel like there's this transformation that's going on. I feel like for the second half of April, there is going to be this transformation that's happening where you can enhance yourself as a person on your path. And it's funny because this is happening a lot this month, the second half of April. I'm seeing like a lot of tests with the North Node, with the different North Nodes. I'm seeing also these transformations that are happening. So how is it you're transforming? Well, on your timeline cards, you've got the Queen of Pentacles reversed. You've got the High Priestess, and you've got the Knight of Pentacles reversed. Now, the Knight of Pentacles reversed and the Queen of Pentacles, I feel like this is you getting unstuck. But remember, Pentacles are about earth. They're about tangible things. A lot of times physical objects or things of value. It's an earth sign, okay? These represents all the earth signs. And I feel like this Queen of Pentacles reversed, this is you transforming into the High Priestess here, okay? Where you are moving out of just the five senses and kind of moving in and above and beyond that. How does that work? Well, for a lot of you, what's happening is you may have trouble following your intuitive nature. Not all of you. Some of you are better at it depending on your individual chart. But a lot of you have trouble trusting your instincts and your intuition. The reason being is your South Node in Gemini, right? Because Gemini sees all the possibilities and tries to weigh them all out. Well, what does this person think? Well, what about this information? And it's kind of like all over the place. And one of the skills that you're learning in this lifetime is to find your inner truth, because everyone has their own truth. Everyone sees things at a different, in a different way. Okay. So you're being asked to find that truth. But in order to do that, you have to break out of what the five senses are just telling you and move into that, intuitive side of yourself. The really interesting thing about your North Node, or when you see the polarity or axis of, Sagittarius and Gemini, is there's a lot of intuition there, a lot of like psychic ability and intuition, which you wouldn't think of at at first, but there really is these gifts there, and that is because it's precisely you following that inner guidance, your intuition, your inner guidance to your timeline that is going to help you in this. Okay, and so that's what's wanting to transform this second half. Now, what you're transforming into is you are transforming into the high priestess, who, and remember, these cards, tarot cards are not gender or sex specific. They're just variations, like the magician and the high priestess are just different energies. It's magical, intuitive energy, but it's a different way it's reflected. The same with the kings and the queens. Like, they're not gender or sex specific, but just different flavors of a similar energy. But with the high priestess, you could see that, she is here between the white and the black pillar of polarities. She is not being polarized one way or the other. She's rising above, the polarization is the physical world, the 3D world we live in, hot, cold, up, down, dry, wet, so on. Okay. That's the physical world. But the high priestess is able to go above that and between that and beyond that. And when you go beyond the five senses of the physical world, represented by the polarities of the white and the black pillar, that's where your gifts are, and that's where you find your truth. Okay, so how are you going to find this inner truth? Let's look at your advice cards. You've got the Five of Pentacles reversed, and you've got the Eight of Pentacles reversed. We'll start with the Five of Pentacles. One of the things that happens a lot with your North Node is there could be this dependence on what other people think, and this is coming from your South Node in Gemini, okay, and or the third house, whatever the case may be. There could be this dependency of, I need to figure out, like, what does he think? What does she think? What do they think? What does my mom think? What does my dad think? What does my brother think? What does, my sister think? Whatever. What do they think at work? Like, you're looking for the answers in other people or in multiple places, and it could be like confusing, right? And what the Five of Pentacles is, this is, either help that's not being given because we don't ask for it, or being dependent on help and not willing to do it, which is the case here, right? Which is, you don't need to figure out what everyone else thinks or feels about things. What matters is what you think. You're helping yourself. You don't need the help. You don't require the help. The answers are within you. Okay? And that's one of the big lessons that you learn with this North Node is the Gemini and Sagittarius, they come in with, we're talking about North Nodes and South Nodes, okay? They come in with a lot of inherent wisdom, inner wisdom from past lives. So the answers are within you. And so that's what this is saying. Like, don't seek answers for your life with outside, with other people, and with groups. Find it within yourself. Now, the other thing with the Eight of Pentacles is that sometimes what we can do is we can find our truth through our careers or what we do. And that's not also where you're supposed to look. You're not supposed to, it's not supposed to be something that you're working toward or something that you're going to find within your work or what it is you do. Okay, so you're not working toward this. It's already in you. All you have to do is open up that intuition. And one of the ways you could do that, I've talked about this before, but it bears repeating because it's been a while. But you can, if you have an idea about something, right? And let's say you have an issue or a problem or you're something you're trying to solve or you're trying to take a direction, and you say, okay, what if I do this? Before you go any further, ask yourself, am I suggesting this to myself as a solution or an answer or a direction because of what other people think? Or is it something that's truly coming from within me? Ask yourself honestly. Because then if you think, well, it's because, so and so suggested it, type of a thing. Okay, back up and ask again. So find out what it is that's in you that's your truth. And when that truth comes up, ask again, is this coming from any place because of what I think people would like to see in me or in my life? Or is it something that's been suggested to me? Or is it coming from truly within me? So it's an exercise of finding your truth. Just keep doing that, keep digging, and you'll come across, when you do find it, you might second guess yourself, and that's where the big part of intuition is trusting what comes in. So when that comes in, if it feels right and it's something that's not being influenced by other people or situations in your life, but it's truly coming from within you, then proceed in that direction. Okay. If it feels, then that's the intuitive hit, because you're trusting in that intuition that's coming up. So yeah, that's what's coming up for you for the second half of April. Really transformative. Look to ways that I feel like this inner knowing is going to start to come up, and you're going to be able to like any sort of confusion or emotional confusion that you could be feeling is going to start to disappear the more you can kind of search for this inner truth. It's interesting too. This occurred to me with the Ace of Cups. This, you've heard of the Arthurian legends, the Holy Grail. This really is a search for the Holy Grail within yourself. And this is, your truth, because when you find that and you follow it, you're going to find that you could put yourself on the greatest timeline that you could ever imagine. So anyway, let me know how this plays out for you in the comments. Reach out to me with any questions you might have, or I'm really curious to see how this plays out. But yeah, anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions in your life and would like a personal tarot reading, or if you would like your astrological chart analyzed, where I could see where your timeline has been, where it's at now, and where it could be heading in the future, there's a link to my website in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Capricorn and or the 10th house. This is going to be your April 2024 TAROTSCOPE reading for the second half of April. Okay, really interesting. So the theme card that popped out for you is the Four of Pentacles reversed. And I'm feeling like a big theme for the second half of April is two things. Growing, I keep getting this image of like kind of growing a thick skin, or kind of like toughening up, which the Four of Pentacles is like, you think of the number four, it's a square, right? So it's like, this box, and which is, it can be like a protection, but also Pentacles. This is, regarding, kind of growing a thick skin. But the other thing that I'm getting, so there's a situation that's going to come up that's going to require you to kind of like let it brush off you, like you're wearing armor. But the other thing is that when this situation comes up, you're being asked not to let it let you shut down, like to shut down your heart at the same time, or kind of like, going to your shell or whatever. So you're developing a thick skin, but also not letting this situation kind of shut you down. And this is really interesting because I feel like this is a very, for a lot of the north nodes this month, there's like this thing where there's this like a testing period that can, and I see this from time to time with different readings for different months, where it can set you on into a higher plateau or like a higher level. When you're dealing with this, I'll get more into this thing about like growing a thicker skin, but also on not letting it, whatever happens, like shut you down, where you're still able to like, function. Don't let it hurt you or damage you as much, mentally or emotionally. Let's look at your timeline cards. You've got the 10 of Wands reversed. You've got the Six of Wands reversed, and you've got the Star card. Now, the Star as well as the World card are both in this reading. And when I see one of these cards, it's significant. But when I see both together upright, it means that this really is something like this month, the second half of April, where you can really put yourself far ahead of the game in your life and to win, right? Where this is going to take place is this is going to be like you going through something and not repeating a pattern that you have in the past. Something to where there's a situation that's going to pop up the second half of April, and it's going to be tempting for you to maybe act and react in a way that you have before. But if you're able to react in a different way and to kind of learn, like, okay, I've done this different times. Like, we've all done this before where, we've kind of reacted similarly in certain situations that have come up throughout our life. I mean, let's just face it, we do. We don't always react differently. Sometimes we have kind of set ways of being, and it can be like a comfort thing. But what you have to ask yourself, when you've reacted that way, did it really play out to your best interest, or was it just kind of like, well, that's the way I always react to this? So one of the reasons I say that is on one of your advice cards, you have the Nine of Wands reversed. Okay, this is learning from past battles, learning from past experiences, and really learning from them in new ways of being. So I feel like there's going to be a situation. It could be for a lot of you at work. It could be something to where it's something that you're doing every day for a living. It could be, some of you could be in a relationship, but I feel like it has to do with you passing this test, and it's going to be something that it could either cause you to become like very sensitized to it, and that's coming from your South Node in Cancer, like getting overly sensitive and then maybe shutting down. And so you're being asked to kind of grow this thick skin, whatever this is. And I feel like there's an opportunity here for you to win. You've got the reverse Six of Wands, but I feel like the reverse Six of Wands is something that can be put upright if you kind of are reacting in the best way possible with this. But for each of you, it's going to be different, but there's going to be something that is a situation that could trigger you, and you're being asked to, like, as I said, grow a thick skin, not let it shut you down, but kind of like shoulder the responsibility of whatever this is and take it head on, type of a thing. When you do that, this is where you could really kind of get to that like next level, okay? Part of your training in this lifetime with your Capricorn or 10th house North Node is, Capricorn rules the bones. It's about like, ruled by the planet like Saturn, hard work, toughness, mental, physical, emotional toughness. And that's really what this is that, when you can go through this and you can actually go through a situation and not let it affect you like it normally would, like maybe hurt your feelings, or where you shut down or you can't really function for a while. That's what I mean by like getting a tough, like kind of growing this tough skin. Um, yeah, I relate to this a lot because I am a Cancer, and I have a 10th house South node, okay, but I'm also a North node in Cancer, okay. So I understand this energy, and I could see that there are times where it's very valuable to be able to grow that kind of tough skin throughout life, and it can make the difference in success in your life or not having success. Okay, it could really play out, and for some reason, for a lot of you, for this month, this is something where I feel like it's going to be like a big thing. Okay, just remember, whatever happens the second half for you personally of April, and even this is good advice, for the rest of the year and for the rest of your life. Think about taking it on, and like something happens and you're putting on armor, but at the same time, you're not shutting down, you're still functioning. And that it can be very difficult. It can be really difficult, especially when something it hits us mentally or emotionally in a certain way. And that doesn't mean you don't handle it. You handle it with whatever means or way you can. You just don't want to let it shut you down, and you want to build up some sort of a protective barrier, or this tough skin is what I'm seeing. But yeah, I mean, it could, whatever this is, it could really, if you pass this test, it could really, put you far ahead on your timeline, because we're seeing some big things. This could even be, when I'm looking at the Six of Wands reversed here, and you have the Star and you've got the World card. This could be like the difference between, in the situation, even success or failure. This just came to my mind, that it was just an example. I always like to give examples to kind of explain myself. So one example that the way this could play out, no, not the way this could play out for you, but I'm just saying as an example. Okay, let's say that a person who is a single person, right? And they go to a function, a gathering, of some sort. And there is another person there that would be a perfect match for them as a partner. But what happens is they go into this function, and something happens with another person to where something is said or done, and feelings are hurt. There could be some mental or emotional anguish, or whatever. And let's say this person, goes into an old pattern of, like, I'm hurt, I'm out of here, or whatever, I'm not dealing with this, and they get super emotional. They're hurt mentally and emotionally, and they leave the function. Well, the way timelines work are, we're in control of our timeline. We, if that person would have stayed, possibly they could have met the greatest person in their life for a relationship. It's like in 2007, I almost, I live in California. I almost moved to Texas, but I didn't, right? And now looking back, when I look at that, my life would have been completely different if I moved. Possibly would have been better or whatever. But I mean, I'm happy with it. But what I'm saying is that our decisions affect our timeline. So what I'm seeing here is, by you doing this, you're doing something that can affect your timeline very, very positively. So going back to that example I just said, let's say that person said, like they grew tough and they like this, they kind of felt it. It didn't feel good. They maybe told the person off, like, whatever. They grew some armor in the thick skin, and they didn't react like they always react. They didn't just leave the party and have it ruin their whole day or their evening or whatever. And they stayed, and they went, and they went over to the buffet table, and they started eating, and then all of a sudden they meet that person and they start talking. If they would have left, they would have never met that person. That's how magical timelines are. Timelines are a set of probabilities. Okay, but we're driving those probabilities. And if every decision that we make affects that timeline. That's what I'm seeing here. So it might seem like a minor thing. You're like, oh, well, okay, grow a tough skin. Well, okay, whatever. You might, but by doing that, I'm telling you that it could affect your timeline very, very positively if you're able to do this. Just remember, don't do the same old thing. Try to do something different, especially in, as I said, growing. Don't shut down emotionally and mentally, and grow that tough skin and move forward in this, because it could mean the difference between success or not. Anyway, very exciting stuff. Let me know how this plays out, how this situation plays out, because very, very powerful reading for you this month. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. If you would like a personal tarot reading, or if you would like your astrological chart analyzed, where I could see where your timeline has been, where it's at now, and where it's headed to the future, there's a link for my website in the description box below. But with that, I'll say thank you, and we'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Aquarius and or the 11th house. This is going to be your April 2024 TAROTSCOPE reading for the second half of April. Okay, yeah, really interesting. So very interesting and positive reading for you North Nodes in Aquarius or the 11th house. Your theme card that popped out is a beautiful card. It's the 10 of Cups upright. And you also, in your timeline cards, got the 9 of Cups. Okay, so this in tarot is the 9 of Cups is known as the wish card. It's like a wish come true. It's things that we hope for and desire, the positive things in our life. Winning those and achieving those. And then, of course, the 10 of Cups is happiness. And of course, it shows a family here. But when I saw this card, this means more for you this month and moving forward than just a family unit. What I got when I saw this card was, it was about finding your tribe, finding your people, and cherishing that, and really knowing and realizing that it's a great resource for you. Okay, so I said beyond the family, what are our tribes? Okay, it could be like close friend groups. It could be organizations that we belong to, spiritual organizations. It could be charity organizations, or even like hobbies or things like that. It could be, as I said, family, extended family. Also, it could even be like work relationships. But we could also, lots of times people have different groups and tribes that they belong to. And what I got for you for this month is there's going to be an opportunity to really appreciate and tap into the resources of finding your tribe, finding your people, and using more moreover using your gifts and talents to add to, you know, these groups and this tribe, you know, finding and keeping and cherishing those around you. um it's really important for your North Node to connect with your tribe and to really add something to it, because everybody that has this North Node has something to give to the groups around them. Everything from family and friends all the way up to work and other organizations. Okay. So I feel like for you, for this month, there's going to be opportunity to do that. Now, you might, for some of you, you might have a situation where, you know, you haven't found your tribe yet. Okay, this is something that you're being asked to kind of look at, like find kind of where you belong. And for some of you, you might have like a couple of groups or you know, organizations you belong to. um and then, you know, there could be an opportunity for more than that. Some of you that, you know, you say, well, I don't really have, you know, a close family or whatever, but there is a group and a tribe out there that is needing and can benefit from who you are as a person, is what I'm saying. Now, your timeline cards are, you've got the 8 of Wands upright, and as I said, you have the 9 of Cups, the Wish card, and then you've got the 7 of Swords. Now, the 7 of Swords in this reading for the second half of April, this is going to be like a lot of North Nodes this month. There's a lot of um, tests that are going on. The universe is testing you to see and getting you to refine your personal path, like many of the other North Nodes that I'm getting this month. And what this 7 of Swords is that it could feel like there's a situation that comes up where like your thunder or something is being, you know, your personal power could feel diminished, particularly by like a person or a group. And this happens a lot with this North Node because, as I said before, everybody that has this North Node has their South Node in Leo or the fifth house. And most of you naturally have this inner shine to you, okay? And it can be also like, you, many of you have experienced envy or jealousy throughout your life for no reason at all, like since you were maybe, you know, a small child. People being jealous of who you are or your gifts or your talents or whatnot. And I feel like there could be something to where it could be something that someone says to you. It's, you know, something that someone does to you. It could be something that's even from the past. But I feel like what you're being asked to do is you're being asked to like rise above this and basically find out, like, if there's someone in your life or people or group or whatever that isn't honoring who you are and it doesn't feel right, you're being asked to recognize that, understand that, and find out who does have your back, who values you. Okay. And there's this situation that's going to come up where, as I said, your, you know, pride might be hurt, your ego, your, as I said, your thunder stolen in a some way. It's going to feel that way, and you're being asked to, as I said, rise above that. And what this is this is to do a couple of different things. Number one, to show you who it is that really values you, so you can recognize, okay, well, these people really love and honor and respect me, and maybe these people don't, you know, so it's kind of separating them. But it's also getting you to not get caught up because into the wounds and hurts that can come, because a lot of times people with this North Node, because of that Leo fifth house South Node that's there, um, they could get their ego bruised, a lot of times throughout life, and it's very difficult. So this is kind of a test for you to like say, whatever, like you're not my tribe anyway. And it's difficult. It's not easy to do, to kind of blow that off, but you're being asked to like move beyond that. That's what this Eight of Wands is. This is like you're moving on your path. And the other beautiful thing with this is that there is a real opportunity, and I do see this with a few other north nodes for the end of April here and beyond. There's an opportunity to really take a big leap ahead on your path, and like there's like good rewards that are around the corner for doing this. I'm seeing this with a few different north nodes, where if you are able to navigate this and kind of take this advice, into you, and you're able to, move beyond that and say, you know what, you're just showing me who you are. I'm moving away from whatever this is, and I'm going to find my tribe. I'm going to hang around the people and the groups that appreciate me. When you're able to do that without getting kind of too much of an ego wound, I could see like where you could really kind of move ahead, and there's these rewards that are like right around the corner. Now your advice cards, going along with this Eight of Wands here, is you've got the Four of Swords reversed, and you've got the Judgment card reversed. Now, the Four of Swords reversed is coming out of a period of inactivity, where you're being asked to not get stuck in a pattern, and move past it, which is, when something happens and someone, out of either jealousy, spite, or envy, or whatever it is, tries to dim your star or to dim your shine, you're being asked to not get stuck in an old way of being. It's like coming alive in a new way in your life. And when you can do that, one of the ways, this is coming to my mind, okay, I can relate to this because this north node is my north node. I have a north node in Cancer, but I have a north node in the 11th house. Okay. So this is really relevant to me, and I can relate to this. One of the things that can help you is when someone does something to us or says something to us that is bruising or hurtful. And it could be people we know, or even just like, throughout our life, there's just people that are like rude or for whatever reason. And I know personally that, I've kind of dealt with this off and on, and it's because, I've dealt with like kind of, jealousy and envy since I was a small child in different ways. Not, every day with everybody, but, it comes up. One of the things I've developed is doing something that is giving them a blessing. I call it a blurse, like a blessing curse. Okay, follow me on this for a second, okay? So there's two ways that we can deal with things that happen in our life. If someone is like, rude, and they're not appreciating us or whatever, we can go into it and go into battle. We can get hurt. We can get angry. We can like, okay, let's toss it up. That's one way to handle it. Or like there's another way that a lot of times you see this in certain, especially like, Eastern spiritual, traditions. They say like, like nothing is harming me. I'm just going to like ignore it. That's like, there's two ends of the spectrum, right? But another way that I found is that when someone does that, because you get a satisfaction out of, and let's just be real here, let's be honest, we get a satisfaction out of, standing up for ourselves and going to battle for ourselves, and we don't like to put up with like, the BS that's in the world sometimes. So getting back to that kind of blessing curse thing, what I do is I tell myself, and I look at that person. There's a situation. I don't ever say it to their face, rarely, okay? But you say, I wish the universe gives you exactly the energy that you put out. I wish for you that whatever energy you put out, the universe, and you can say tenfold, okay? And, all you're doing there is you're just saying, because that's the way it works, like what we put out kind of comes back, and if it's up to them whether that's a blessing or a curse type of a thing. If they're putting out negativity all the time in the world, and we all know people like this, you run into them, they're just like negative, and just like not nice, okay? Then for our own sanity and peace of mind, we can say that. And we feel like, for me, and as I said, there's nothing negative about it. You're just saying you wish for them, you hope that they are able to change, because that's the way, karma works a lot of times is, it's something where people learn over time. They're like, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. I've got my hand slapped 100 times. I'm not going to stick my hand in the cookie jar again, But whatever that is, you're doing something that is helping you to cope, as opposed to just ignoring it. Because let's face it, we can ignore it all we want and say, oh, but honestly, like, we're human. That's the thing. That's the middle path. And that's what some Eastern traditions say is like, we don't have to walk through life like holy monks, where we're not human, nothing bothers us at all, or whatever, or we don't have to walk through life constantly battling and having our ego bruised. We can go through life with that middle ground where we're human, we have feelings, we have an ego, that's normal, okay? And so that's what I'm talking about here. Maybe that will help. When this happens, you can just kind of say to yourself, hey, that's fine, may the energy you put out into the world, may you get back 10 times, and that type of thing. And hopefully, because let's face it, the more people that can learn to put positivity into the world, the better the world's going to be. Like, we don't need any more jerks, okay? So anyway, maybe that will help you. Okay, that's kind of my personal way of kind of when I deal with that, and I feel like it gives me a way to deal with it. It helps me kind of get over it, type of a thing, because you're not battling them, but you're not completely ignoring it. You're acknowledging that there's something that was not nice, and you're just saying that energy come back to you. And so, we have the Four of Swords reversed. Okay, so I said this is moving toward action. And then your other card here is the Judgment reversed, which is, this is coming up because the universe really wants you to get this message, because I feel like this message in different ways has been trying to come into your sphere of consciousness for a while. Okay, with that's how it works. When we're learning our path, our personal path, it'll come up in different ways over, until we kind of learn it. It'll just keep repeating it. And so I feel like what this is saying is, this is getting you to, you're being asked to not do it on your own, but find your tribe, find those that value you. And that's the other thing. When people show themselves for who they truly are, and they're not honoring you, they're just showing you who they are. And then, like, okay, they're not someone that has like my back or my best interest at heart. So yeah, that's what's happening. And the positive thing, as I said, is that if you can navigate this and you can do well with this test, there's some rewards that I see that are coming in different ways. And for a lot of times, there's emotional rewards, but I'm also feeling like also things of a physical nature that are positive rewards that can come, but yeah, this is basically like a you empowering yourself, but empowering yourself by finding your tribe. by finding your people, who it is that you are supposed to be with and be supported by, and you support them, type of a thing. Okay. Anyway, interesting reading. I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. If you have any questions in your life and would like a personal tarot reading, or if you would like your astrological chart analyzed, where I could see where your timeline has been, where it's at now, and where it could be heading in the future, there's a link to my website in the description box below. With that, I will say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Pisces and or the 12th house. This is going to be your April 2024 TAROTSCOPE reading for the second half of April. Okay, interesting. So the theme card that popped out for you is the reversed Queen of Pentacles. And I feel like that this is representing, because as I always say, the court cards, the King, Queen, Knight, and Pages, they represent actual people sometimes, or energies. And I feel like this is representing you. And this is representing your south node. It's reversed, okay? Your south node in Virgo, okay, which is an earth sign. Pentacles is everything to do with earth. And yeah, I feel like this is really speaking to you. And there's a transformation that's going on. I feel like there's a something that's going on with a lot of you, that is, you're in this process of transformation. I believe, if I remember correctly, either it was the first half of April or in the very recent past, for I used a metaphor of like a butterfly, changing into or a caterpillar changing into a butterfly. And I feel like a lot of you are still in this, you're in this transformation stage right now, which is represented by this card here. And so what are you transforming, and what could happen the second half of April? Okay, your timeline cards are, you've got the Lover's card reversed. You've got the Knight of Pentacles upright. And you've got the Ten of Swords reversed. Now, the Ten of Swords reversed, what this is a positive card. This is part of the way that your life has gone and some of the anxiety that you could be feeling. This is still lingering, but it's moving away, because on this card, when you turn it upside down and it's reversed, the dawn in the background, it becomes very prominent. Okay, the rising sun in the background, and it's like a dawn of a new day. And it's interesting too, because the theme of the rising sun also comes up in the Lover's card reversed, because you have the Archangel Raphael here, which is the angel of the east. And the reason that the Lover's card is reversed, some of you could be going through things in different relationships in your life. And as you know, if you watch my channel, the Lover's card doesn't only mean romantic relationships or significant other. It could be other relationships in our life. But the reason that the angel is there is that it's showing that it's very karmic. It's very past life situation that's going on. But what I really feel like is this transformation. What this card, the Lover's card, is, I feel like this is a self-love situation. I feel like this is very karmically something that is getting you to not only love yourself at a deeper level, and love your life and love life in general at a deeper level. But this is a very karmic thing. Remember, the north node that you have has the south node in Virgo and or the sixth house. Okay, this is the this is the south node of someone that was, someone that served others, like a servant or whatnot. It's also like um, represents like the martyr and stuff. So a lot of you have had past lives where you were in servitude of some sort, or that you basically weren't given the opportunity to really fully be your true human self, because you were doing something, you were serving something, whether that be, it could be in a company, it could be in an organization, a religious organization. But as I said, it's like your south node is the south node of of sacrifice. And what can happen with a lot of you with this north node is there could be something where you're still developing aspects of self love, and I feel like that's what this is saying. This is like the last remnants of this transformation of really kind of appreciating and loving, who you are. Some of you are further along than others on this, but there is a lot to love. It's like for you, when you achieve this, when you can fully kind of start appreciating yourself as a human being and who you are and what you offer to the world, it's like that's the doorway that sets you on your path to the North Node in Pisces, or the 12th house, which is the universe. It's like the keys to the door, or the price of admission to walk through that. It's like the last thing that you kind of have to do. And what you have to realize is that, you know, you have something within you that is magical and that can be shared to the world. There's something that's in you that is like lovable and deserves to be loved, and that's what you're like realizing, like to fully love and accept yourself. And this transformation is happening to kind of show you that, okay? And it's like you entering this new phase again, which is like the sunrise. Now, with the Knight of Pentacles, um, this is saying that it's like you're still keeping the gifts that you have from your south node. You're still keeping that Virgo south node, the gifts there, or the sixth house, south node. You're keeping those, and they're when you fully accept yourself and understand yourself at a very deep level and have that self love, you are still keeping those wonderful gifts, but it's a balance. And remember, all of the knights are cards of movement, albeit the Knight of Pentacles is like the slower moving of all the knights. But what this is that it's like, think of the knight who finally fully understands and accepts themselves and is able to start walking toward their path, Pisces, or the 12th house, right? But there's maintaining the gifts that they have, and that's what's going on for you. So there's not much that you have to do other than just keep going along with this process, and think of ways like, um, self-talk to yourself. Like, how is it that you talk to yourself? How it is that you think about yourself? Like, ways you could show um, your self-love, because what the love that we have within ourselves is something that when we have that, we can share it to the world, because we can only give what we have within ourselves. And so that's kind of what this is. And it's a very powerful thing, because I'm getting this like image of, it's like, as I said, this is a key. And this last key, when you transform this and you go, yeah, I really do have a lot to offer, in not in an ego way, but just like really appreciate who you are and your life and your positives. It's like the key that kind of opens the door into this final transformation from, as I said before in a past reading recently, from the caterpillar kind of to the butterfly. Now, what are your advice cards? So you've got the Six of Swords reversed, and you've got the Fool card. This is, again, we have the image of the sunrise. Okay, the sun is almost fully up in the sky. Okay, and you're being asked to go through life fearlessly and be fearlessly optimistic, to develop optimism. The Fool card is like childlike exuberance and optimism and wonder, like, what are the possibilities? What can I do? Which is in stark contrast of traditional Virgo sixth house. Well, it's got to be logical. How am I going to do it? I don't know. Let's calculate, and and no one does that in their life. When we're young and we're going out in the life, we don't think of like, well, let me see, how is this all going to work? And I don't know. That's a very kind of like a Virgo south node. I need to calculate. I need to like analyze it and overanalyze it. And you're being asked to like just kind of step into this energy. So step into things with an exuberance. Step into things without, if you find yourself like you have some sort of inspirational idea, right? But then you find yourself going down and saying, okay, well, let me see, how am I going to do this? And I don't know. If you're like over analyzing it, you're dropping back into that south node thing. And that has to do with, again, it's the self-love thing that's coming in falling in love with yourself, where you are trusting yourself, because part of that like self-love is self-trust, trusting that you have what it takes, that idea you have is positive and that it's a good idea. You don't need to second guess yourself. Okay, someone who is extremely confident and has a healthy self-love is able to trust themselves. They don't even second guess. They're like, yeah, I can do this, right? And then the Six of Swords reversed is saying like, okay, there could be, this is an ongoing thing. It's an ongoing thing, moving away from past troubles, past traumas, moving away from old ways of being could be difficult. Okay, it's not gonna just happen overnight. This is saying it's an ongoing traveling thing. Okay, it's an ongoing situation that comes up, and we all backslide. This is how our path is. We don't learn something. It's very, very rare, almost like I've never seen or felt this at all, where you learn something and then it's like, oh, okay, I've got it, and then never happens again. It'll come up, but what happens is, as you work through these energies and you're following your path and you're recognizing the south node tendencies of the Virgo sixth house, when you're recognizing it, it gets easier and you kind of move quicker. So you could say this card is almost like, okay, it's saying, don't think that you're going to move away permanently from it, but it's going to happen, and you're going to sometimes slip back into it. That's fine. You just turn the boat around and you keep moving forward. And then if it happens again, so this is an ongoing type of an exercise for you. But just remember, with all of this, some of you could be feeling like, there's could be some discomfort in all of this. And, because you're feeling like, some of you could be feeling like stuck in a pattern. Just keep moving forward. Remember what I said about this, and remember, this is a transformation process. Okay, it's a very, very transformative, and it's something that's an ongoing type of a thing. Approach your life with a sense of wonder. Give yourself credit for the positive things. Remember that you don't have to be the victim in this life. You don't have to be the martyr. You don't have to be subservient to anybody. Okay, this is a lifetime for you to express freedom and interact with the universe at a greater level. Okay, it's a time for you to step into your personal magic type of a thing. Okay, so this is a very you're in a transition period. Okay, so that's what this whole reading is about. And just remember that it is a process. Okay, so you're going through it. Hopefully some of these, tips and, insights will help you. I hope they were valuable to you. But with that, I will say thank you. Now, if you would like a personal tarot reading, or if you would like your astrological chart analyzed, where I could see where your timeline has been, where it's at now, where it could be heading to the future, there's a link to the description box below. But again, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate you being here. We'll see you on some more videos. Remember to love yourself, okay? Many blessings.